Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. So we will wait for a minute more as people are still joining in. So we'll start by 6:32 or 33 maximum. Okay, so we'll start the webinar now. Hello everyone, my name is Abhijit Mohanty and I head the production team in Braahmam. I welcome all of you to our first webinar of this year 2023. So today we are going to cover the topic 5 benefits of quality data analysis for customer satisfaction. This is the third webinar on our of our webinar series that we have been doing for since last year on quality management. So if you have not been able to go through our previous webinars on quality management, you may visit our website and check those webinars. When we talk about quality, the points that comes to our mind is first is services that we provide to our customer. When we talk about services, it includes how we communicate with our customer, how we respond to their queries, how we address their concerns and everything, right? And it also talks about the deliveries that we do to them, whether we are meeting the expectation of the customer or the project requirement that is given by them. And we also talk about the overall service experience that the customer get out of it when we manage their projects. So if you talk about quality, it focuses mainly on these 3 items. And when we talk about quality management, it focuses on 4 major items. First is the communication. So when we talk about communication, we talk about like when our customer gives us any request to us or any complaints, so how we are handling those emails or communication, how we are delivering the projects to them, how far we are able to meet the timelines of the projects. It is also about meeting client requirements. So most of the time what happens, most of the customer they can't express like what exactly is their requirement. So being professionals of localization, it is our responsibility to ask questions to customer to understand what exactly is their expectation and requirement, and accordingly provide services to them. Quality management also focuses on risk assessment. So normally when we talk about quality management, the first thing that comes to our mind is like doing analysis on project scorecard or any concern that as customer has shared with us. But it also focuses more on the preventive measures or the risk assessment. So when we talk about quality management, it is very much essential that we perform risk assessment on the projects. Performing risk assessment helps us to identify the potential errors or potential issues that may impact the project or that may impact the service experience of our customer. So once the potential issues are identified, it is very much important that we take preventive measures, because taking preventive measures, it is more important than taking corrective measures. So in case of corrective, while in some cases we can work on corrective measures. So corrective measures is like the errors has already come or the damage is already done, and then we work on the action plan so that we can remove or eradicate the cause of the issues. So in Braahmam, we focus more on preventive measures so that we are able to take some preventive measures to avoid the potential errors that can impact the project result or the service experience of our customers. And the most important point that comes under quality management is helping customer grow their business. So quality is the ultimate objective of quality management is like understanding and helping customers achieve their objective or help them to grow their business. So when we talk about quality management, data plays a very important role because without data, it is not possible to understand the health of our customer. Where exactly we stand in terms of services that we provide to our customer. So visibility on data is very important. It helps us to analyze different data and take necessary preventive measures or corrective measures so that we can avoid any potential issue that may impact the project. So when we talk about quality data, so here we can take example of few quality data, because in a day-to-day project management, when we manage different projects, we come across very different data that when we handle any project. So when we talk about quality management, the different data that we can take for analysis is one is the project scorecard. So project scorecards, like the feedback that we receive from our different customers on quality, like the scorecard that we receive to them, where they score a particular project or a group of projects, and they identify any if there is any error that was committed during translation or revision. We can also analyze customer satisfaction survey report that we receive from our customers. So these are the survey reports, surveys which we send to our customer, and the responses that we receive from them, so we can analyze those data also. NPS or the Net Promoter Score responses is also very critical data that we can quality data that we can take into account while we are working on analysis. And LQA is the language quality analysis that we perform to evaluate the quality of our deliverables before we deliver them to our customer. This is also very important quality data that we can take when we are doing any kind of analysis. Last but not the least, project feedback. So we receive different project feedbacks time to time from our customers. So sometimes those feedbacks are in a structured form, or sometimes those are not in a structured form. So those feedbacks are also very important when we are doing any kind of analysis. So these are some of the examples of quality data that we can take into consideration when we are working on any kind of analysis. So only having visibility on data is not enough when we are talking about quality management. So it is important that we analyze those data. So data analysis actually helps us to go deeper into the issues and help us to identify the root causes of the issues, so that we can take necessary action to avoid those issues, or to rectify those errors. So having visibility on data, while data is important, but at the same time it is very much important that we analyze those data in a correct way. So Peter Sondergaard is a very famous investor and speaker. So he says that information is the oil of the 21st century, and analytics is the combustion engine. So only having data or information is not enough. So it is very much important that we analyze and go deeper into the data, so that it helps us in improving our service that we are providing to our customers. So today we will cover the importance of data analysis in quality management, different quality data that we can analyze, different ways of having data analysis on quality. We will also discuss about few key points that we need to keep in mind when we are doing any kind of data analysis for quality management. And last but not least, we'll also discuss about 5 benefits of quality data analysis in terms of customer satisfaction. So when we talk about data analysis, so the first point that comes to our mind is like identifying the risk involved. Like I discussed, I told you, so it is very much important that we focus more on the preventive side or the proactive action side rather than on the corrective side, because preventive side will help us to take proactive action to avoid those issues which may impact the projects. So data analysis is very much important to identify those risks that are involved in the project. It is also important in terms of identifying the root causes or the issues or the the errors that may come up or that may impact the project. It also very much important to prepare the way forward, because without data analysis we will not have any visibility on where actually we are standing in terms of the quality. or where exactly is the gap areas that we need to work on, where we are doing good or where we need to improve on. So data analysis helps us to identify those areas and prepare the way forward, or the plan of action which will help us to provide a better service experience to our customer. And the next point is very important. So it also helps, it is very much important that we not only provide good services, we maintain those services. So in order to maintain consistency in performance, we need to have we need to analyze the data properly to provide those to meet the expectation of our customer. So it is very much important that we maintain the services that we provide to our customer to ensure that we retain them. It also helps us to predict the health of the customer, because when we start analyzing the data, so we get an understanding that whether the customer is satisfied with our services or not, whether what are the areas that we need to improve on, what are the areas that we are already doing good and we need to maintain that services. So it gives us actually a visibility that we need to work on, and help us to actually predict the customer health and take necessary action so that we can improve the service experience of our customer. And most importantly, it helps us to take necessary action or prepare necessary plan of action to provide a better service experience to our customer, and so that we keep on getting business from them. So there are different data that can be analyzed. So I have taken few example here. So we can categorize them into different category. So here I have broadly categorized them into 4 categories. First one is external data, second one is internal data, third is structured, and the fourth one is unstructured. So few examples of external data are like the scorecards that we receive from our customers, and the project feedback. Like apart from the scorecard, we also receive different feedback from our customer from time to time. So those data are also very important to be analyzed. Next example is the NPS data. So NPS is the Net Promoter Score. It's a survey that we send to our customers, and the responses that we get, we can also analyze their data. Next example is the CSAT or the customer satisfaction score that we receive. So a few examples of internal data like the LQ or the language quality assessment that we perform on different projects. So it's a preventive measure that we take. So to ensure that before we deliver any file or any project to our customers, there is no error in the file, and to ensure quality on that. So this is an example of internal data. So that data is very much very important to be analyzed. Next are the QA report that we run before we send the projects to the customer, or any other project data that we come across or that we receive or generate while managing a project. So apart from that, there are different other structured data that we can also analyze. The structured data are actually those data which can be measurable. There are certain data which are very subjective. We can categorize them into unstructured category, but we also need to analyze those data. So any data which can be measurable, we can put them into structured category, and anything which is not measurable, we can put them into a unstructured category. We can take example like the subjective feedback that we receive from our customer on their portal or on the email that we receive. So coming to like the ways of data analysis. So there are different ways or quality techniques that are applied when any quality data are analyzed. So I have here taken few of the very most widely used analysis normally when we do analysis of any kind of quality data. So one is the fishbone analysis. Like fishbone analysis is also called as the cause effect analysis. So the other name is also Ishikawa analysis, because the inventor of this analysis is Mr. Ishikawa. So here what is done, like the shape, why it is called as a fishbone, because if you look at the structure, it looks like a fishbone, where the problem or the effect is put at the head of the fish, and different factors or different issues that contribute to that issue or problem are put into different in the fishbone side, in the different fishbones. So this is a very effective way of doing analysis when we are analyzing any kind of quality data to find out the root of the issues. So like fishbone analysis, we can also use 5 whys. So I think we must be aware of this analysis. This is a very widely used technique to analyze any kind of quality data. So 5 ways, y is asked 5 times, and whatever answer that we get in the 5 why, so that is called as a root cause of the problem. There is another analysis technique that we use in Braahmam, which we call it as the PCPT category analysis. So here, what we do, we broadly categorize the issues like into people-related issues, or customer, or process, or technology. So whenever we get any problem, or any client concern, or any issues, so we try to analyze and try to find out like where exactly the issue, why the issue has happened, and where exactly the issue is falling into, like whether it is a people related issue, or a customer related issue, or a process, or a technology. I'll just give you an example. So few months back, we had received a project, and there was a client concern on quality. So we analyzed that data, and we found that issue happened because there was a failure at the people end. Then again, we tried to like try to understand what exactly wrong happened in that project, and we then like the analysis we have shown here, we could find out the actual reason of that issue, and we could then work on the plan of action. And later on, after a few months, we could see that there was an improvement in the quality of the services that we used to provide to the customer. So here we can see that people, customer, process, technology are the 4 broad categories. And again, under them we can see that there are different reasons. So we try to find out what is the reason, or what happened exactly happened when we talk about failure at the people end or a customer end. Then again, at the level, we also try to find out the level 2 reason, like so that we get to reach to the root of the issue, so that it helps us to prepare the plan of action, so that we can address that particular issue. So there are few key points that we need to keep in mind when we are analyzing any quality data. So we will discuss them one by one. So the first point is the frequency of data analysis. So it is very much important that we need to understand at what frequency we should analyze what data, because there are certain data which can be analyzed, which should be analyzed at on a weekly basis. There are some data which we need to analyze on a monthly basis or on a quarter basis. So we can take example here, a few examples here. For example, the feedback that the quality feedback or the scorecards that we receive from our customers. So those are a few quality data that can be analyzed on a weekly basis, because if we don't analyze them on a weekly basis, there are high chances that those issues may be repeated in future projects also. So those are few like the feedback that we receive from the customer on, like the scorecard, or even the internal LQA that we perform internally. It is very much important that either we analyze on a bi-weekly basis or on a weekly basis. We can take a few examples like the CSAT data or NPS data. We can analyze them on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, because those are the data where we need to have some long-term planning for them. So those data can be analyzed on a quarterly or a monthly basis. So like that, it is very much important that whenever we are performing any data analysis, it is important that we should know what data should be analyzed at what frequency. So that frequency should be clear to us. Next point is collating and analyzing correct data. So it is a very critical point, because when we analyze any data, or when we get any client concern, or when we try to analyze any kind of quality data, it is important that we collate or collect the right set of data and analyze it. Because if we don't analyze the correct data, so whatever plan of action or whatever corrective measures that we prepare, it will not be effective, right? So for example, we got a client concern few months back. So that was actually scorecard related issue. So the scorecard was failed, and when we analyzed, so I think we received couple of failed scorecard. I think 2 or 3 failed scorecards. So ideally, if you think so, we should analyze those scorecards only. But apart from the scorecard that we had received, we also analyzed few other data. For example, the internal LQA that we had performed on them. We also analyze like the language that were used on those projects, like in terms of their expertise and everything, and the content. We also analyze few other project data, like the content of the project and everything. So after doing the holistic like overall and data analysis, we could finally be able to reach out to the root of the issues, and then we could work on the corrective measures. So it is very much important that we should know which data to be collected and which data to be analyzed for what type of issues. Next item is like identifying the key problem area or the potential risk areas. So when we analyze any data, it is very much important that we identify those areas where we need to improve on, or what are the gap areas that we need to fix on. So if the issues or the problem has already happened, so we need to identify the risk areas. Or if we are preparing a preventive measure, or if you are having a proactive measure in place, in those cases it is very much important that we need to identify those potential risk areas, because if you don't identify those potential risk areas, it is difficult to have a mitigation plan in place. So once the potential areas or the key problem areas are identified, we need to further drill down and reach to the root cause of the issues. Because without knowing the root cause, if a plan of action is prepared, so maybe that will not be that effective. So it is very much important that we need to understand, or we need to identify the root of that particular issue. So once the root cause is identified, then we need to have specific action plan or specific action item to address that key problem area or root cause, or we need to have a mitigation plan to address that risk areas. So when we work on any project, so before we start working on any projects, we perform this risk assessment and mitigation plan, so that we can avoid those potential issues. So once the plan of action is prepared and it is implemented, it is very much important that we monitor the progress, because without monitoring the progress, we will not be able to know whether the plan of action that we have implemented is actually giving us result or not. So it is very much important that we monitor the progress at time to time and take necessary action. So sometimes what happens that the plan of action that we prepare, sometimes those plan of action don't give us results, right? So in those cases, it is very much important that we need to revisit the plan of action. So it's not that once we prepare any plan of action, it is fixed for a particular period of time. We need to revisit the plan of action, so that if we find that okay, the existing plan of action is not giving us results, it is important that we revisit them and change them. Here is a case study of the data analysis. So we performed this case study on one of our customers who belong to they are into trading industry. So there was a quality issue when we started working on their data. So we followed PCPT analysis technique here. So we identified that around 70% of the areas were actually contributed by people. When we further drill down, we found that almost out of the 70% issues, almost 80% of the issues were contributed only because of language quality or linguistic quality related issues were identified. Then we further drilled down and found that it was actually non-following of style or tone which contributed almost 70% of that issue. So here, if you look at the analysis, here it is clearly visible. While there are many, we can say there are many error categories which have contributed, but most, if you look at the prime one, it is actually the non-following or non-adherence of the style which contributed almost 70% of the issues. So we started working on it and prepared the plan of action accordingly, and it eventually helped us to improve the service experience of our customer, which eventually helped us to win more business from them. So coming to the 5 benefits of quality data analysis. So the first thing that the first benefit that we get from quality data analysis is the quality control. So in through data analysis, we get a control on quality, because we could foresee the potential issues that could impact the project, right? And that helps us to identify the root causes, and accordingly we can have a quality management plan or quality improvement plan in place. So if we analyze the quality data effectively, we get a control on the quality that we deliver to the project, and through the preventive measures that we take, it actually helps us to avoid any kind of surprises that may come up in terms of quality. The next important point or benefit that we get is like consistency in quality. So it is not only important that we deliver good quality for a project, it is very much important that we maintain that performance and consistently give good quality of service to our customer. Because in this world of competition, it's very much important that we provide a good service experience to our customers. So through since we perform a very detailed analysis, so we could have a specific plan of action or actionable for each of the improvement areas. And through regular monitoring and proactive measures, we can maintain or we can give consistent performance to our customers. Next item is the service assurance. So it is a very important point, because until and unless customer gets that as assurance from us, it is difficult that they will stay with us for a long period of time. So if they don't get that assurance, there are high chances that they may churn out. So in this context, so it is important that we give them a good quality. We ensure that we deliver their projects on time and win their confidence. So through effective data analysis, it also helps us to give that service experience, service assurance to our customers. Then the next important point is customer retention. So through improved quality and consistency and good service experience, we can turn a possible churn customer to a retained customer. So it also helps us to retain our customer and reduce our churn rate. So this is a very important aspect in terms of benefit that we get from quality data analysis. Lastly, a very important point is decision making. So without data analysis, it is not possible for us to make any decision. So the data analysis actually helps us to make any kind of a decision or effective decision making. It helps in making effective decision making, prepare future plan of action for us. Because the decision that we take are purely based on the data, not on anything else. So it is important that we perform effective data analysis and get whatever decision that we take is based on that data analysis only. So that's all we have to cover in this webinar today. We have a couple of minutes left. If you have any questions, please let me ask. I mean, you can use the chat box to ask your questions. You may type in your questions in the chat box if you have any questions. Okay, I don't think anybody asked, but there's one question. For implementation, my question is to use that's called. Mona Lisa, like the question is like, does the quality parameters change as per quality and nation? Yes, it does change, because quality parameters may not remain same, because different industry has like they have different set of work out there. They follow a different process. So every I mean different. Yes, there are some common standards that can be followed when we are doing any analysis. But yes, from industry to industry, it may vary. What measures should be taken to ensure accuracy and consistency in the analysis of customer satisfaction data? Okay. So Manoranjan, like we discussed, eh, I mean, when you talk about accuracy, I think you're talking about accuracy in the delivery, right? So when you analyze the data, right, you can identify the possible, like I told you. So we can identify the possible risk areas, right? So if you find that okay, this is one of the risk areas, or accuracy is one of the risk areas, you can take necessary corrective measures to address that. So to maintain consistency, it is important that if you are, I mean, if even if you are delivering a good quality service to to a customer, it is important that you also analyze the data that is available to you, or the feedback that you receive from the customer. If you find any scope of improvement there, you can also use that and have a plan of action in place, so that you can give same state or same set of services, or you can maintain consistency in services that you provide to the customer. So I hope I could answer your question. Okay, thanks Manoj, and thanks Mona. Do you have any other question, or should we wrap it up? Okay, I don't think we have any other question. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. You can, so this webinar will be uploaded in our website, so you can visit there also. Okay. Good evening. Abhijit. Is there any platform for quality feedback for customer clients to upsell services within the organization? So, Santosh, like in Brahmam, what we do, we have designed a survey form for a customer. So the NPS is one of them, and CSAT is also another survey form that we have designed. So we send those survey forms to our customer. While CSAT is a project specific feedback that we ask from our customer, and it's not a, I mean, we only ask two questions to them and to rate our services. But the NPS is a very detailed form that we send to our customer, which gives us more clarity on where exactly we need to work on, and what are the gap areas, or what are the areas where we are doing good. So these are some of the platforms that we have created where customer can give their service, that can give their feedback to us. Does that answer your question, Santosh? Okay. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. And the webinar will be available on the website also. Thank you.